over here and in helping us to make summers more fun for our kids. And the topic for today, Morning GupShup, is making art fun for your children during summer. Hi Deepika, I welcome you to Baby Chakra, and it's going to be a wonderful session with your inputs over here. So, how do you feel today in this morning?
Yeah, thank you, Pooja. It's been amazing, meeting you after a long time. And yes, summers are my time with kids, and that's how I enjoy my summers. And with art, it makes even better.
Wow, that is such wonderful. So, Deepika, how did your passion turn into a profession? Can you help us with your journey a little bit?
Okay, now that's a long story to make
Okay,
it short. We just started, art was there right from the beginning. It's just that we don't, you know, ca- groom ourselves in that way. We have a lot of subjects in class and the timetable, whatever we have as a system, education system, we just used to have only one session of art for a
correct.
week time. It wasn't like a day, in a day as well. So in a week we used to have just 45 minutes. It was there, but then you don't even know that you like art. It just
Okay.
bypasses and it just goes away, isn't it? That way, I mean, right until I finished my college, I
Haha.
really didn't know I was into art. So,
Okay.
but I was working for, in departments like designing, putting across, organizing for the seminars and, putting up the banners, helping my friends in, certificates and all of that. And, floral arrangements in college. So, all of that I was doing, but I did not realize that was art.
Oh,
And once when I got married, I had ample time at my disposal. And being that as my case, art was something that drawn me, and it was, to be told in a more like a toddler's language, that was my pacifier. So I
wow.
like, whenever things go wrong, I used to sit down and I used to draw something. And then,
Right.
if I wasn't feeling good about myself, I used to sit down and do something related to art.
Okay.
Slowly, started learning this Japanese art of ikebana,
Mm-hmm.
and then and then that is where that was like my forte. That was like my vent out. So I would go and I would just stay and learn, come back and do with flowers, and it would make my day. And once I finished that, I came across ladies, my teachers, who were more into art. They would, paint sitting at home and just for the fun and just to be themselves. And then I started understanding this is how, this process is. And after which I started drawing and then painting, and its process started when my son was around, I think, 6 months old. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started little by little by little, and now it's 10 years now. So I'm into it. I keep doing every day a little bit of art. Either I do it for myself or I teach. So it's become like that. That's the whole story. So from COVID onwards, it's been more of a structural form. So I
Okay.
started talking, taking classes online. So earlier it was like fun for my child. My child is a single child, and sometimes he says, "I'm bored, mom. I don't know." So my cousins' children, they would come. One Friday, every week's Friday, they would come. We would draw. We'll understand, and it used to be a pizza party.
That's nice. That's a
So
very
that's
nice.
how, yeah. So that's how the year and a half went by. The children, my cousins, the children, my nieces, they would come, they would learn, and they would have fun in the class. And slowly, this organic structure became more. I had to put it up in a structural format,
Structural
more
format.
formal work. So that started 2 years back, and now we've started doing this. Yeah.
That is very nice. Now, as you said, we have only those 45 minutes of that art classes in the school, right? But a child is more into colors, wants to experiment. So, what kind of, you might be getting the age group might be a variety for you, right? So,
Very.
how do you understand, this child has an inclination towards crayon kind of a thing, this child has an inclination towards canvas, or just I just want to spoil my hands, I just want to do with my hands like what toddlers do. So how do we understand all these things? I mean, as a mother, I still don't get it. When I take my children to, to draw, they're like, I just want watercolors. But
Yeah.
I don't know how do I select upon all these things. So how do you select the interest
Yeah.
of the child?
So basically, what my process is, my understanding with the child is, I talk to the child and then I would look into the previous pictures in case if they have done any. And
Acha.
once when you understand, there are something called the gross motor skills, right? So if they're not able to hold a pencil,
Yes.
I deal with children who are like 4 to, children that age. So basically, they have all jumbo crayons, right?
Correct.
So for them to hold the pencil, there is a grip that helps them, isn't it? And there is something called tactile. So you just put a lot of flour, mix them with the colors, and then you do. So they like the tactile kind of art form. But as children grow, they all want to express. The mediums are plenty,
Mm-hmm.
but just to understand which medium the child, even the child doesn't know what
Correct.
they like. Except a very few children who would come, ma'am, I want to do only with markers. Ma'am, I want to do only sketching. So there are few children who come this way. There are others who just, oh wow, how do I put it across? They would say, ma'am, I want to draw, but I don't know what to draw. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's how it is. But slowly, what I would say to children is, for a children of 4, 5, or 2 to 4, that age group, paints are the best. So
Wow.
your paints, just give them non-toxic paints. Let them paint their canvas big. Give them big sheets, so
Okay.
that they explore on the sheets and they
Acha.
draw something. And then you start reducing the sizes and make
Ah,
sure, because they enjoy the process. The focus time is very limited for the child, right? So
correct.
45 minutes is max I can expect from a child who is around 4 to 5. Then they would just sit down, they just play, they're so involved. And if I give them a pencil, it doesn't work good.
Right.
So because they keep, and in the works are, when it is very detailed work, they will not like it.
Correct.
Would like, take the color, splash it over, would just take a toothbrush, just sprinkle it. So they would like these. As
Mm-hmm.
age increases, then we put them into a more structural format. So then
Right.
I understood that children in the, like 2 to 4, 4 to 5, that kind of an age group, they wanted to things to be more tactile, and it has to be quick. They should not be like, I have to do it the next day. They just sat, they completed their art form, and they just take it. There is a sense of satisfaction in them. So,
Mm-hmm.
and prolonged time, they want to do it. Just, we will not do it, we will do it tomorrow. That does not work with that age group. They just need to finish it then and there quickly and then take it up. Maybe a child who is in, like, from say around 10,
Okay.
like 9, 10, they understand. So my work is half done, and then
Uh-huh.
to come tomorrow and finish it. So that age group understands. So for them,
Right.
starting with color pencils, crayon, and then other mediums like watercolor pencils. Pencils works wonders, and slowly there is oil pastels. So oil pastels works wonder for few kids. So there is, people think crayons and oil pastels are same, but
Uh-huh.
different mediums. Oil pastels blend really well, and then they help you to understand the light and shadows. So all of that we can do with oil pastels. And from henceforth, watercolors, acrylics, oils. So the mediums are plenty. Just to begin with, for the toddlers, I think just give them non-toxic paints and big sheets, and put them a jumpsuit or a apron, and just allow them to explore the colors. They don't need us, they're in their world.
So this is actually like if two sessions are planned during summer, okay, like the mom is busy, like most of us were working from home,
Yeah.
and those who wish to continue after working from home. So
Mm-hmm.
making the summer times, because summer is so horrible, we cannot send them out, we cannot send them
Very true.
in the sun. So one activity like can be planned with two sessions in between. Like it
Yeah.
can be on the priority if parents are involved in some other thing.
Yeah.
Definitely, this is a very nice takeaway on this talk that you have told us.
All you have to do is just use your own material at home, like a flour. You make
Yes.
it more slimy. In case if it is a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, just use a polythene tape, duct tape it around, put the flour, just put another polythene tape. So there's a layer. Polythene tape, flour, and then polythene tape on it, and then you duct tape it. The child will start exploring. I think the child is good to go for another 15 to 20 minutes time, and you
Mm-hmm.
your work, I tell you.
I think so. That's wonderful. There is also one more thing, we when we were small, we had this origami. That's also a now Japanese art,
Yes, yes.
right? But now YouTube has made such a strong presence everywhere that when we go and teach the child, you have to do this fold, you have to do this,
Yeah,
that, they lack patience.
exactly.
And all these kids who go for summer camps, or probably who listen to others, they would patiently do it. But when it comes to as a parent, I believe we have a tough time teaching them origami. So do these children of this age also have that inclination towards art craft kind of a thing? Do you feel so?
Very much indeed, but you know what? So basically, they do. It is good that they tear paper, yes, and then try to do a collage. So tear
Okay.
paper is fun, and then
Yes.
just sticking is again fun, right? Basically, what happens is we to children whoever come to me, I literally art is something that you need to slow down.
Right.
You're not on a run, and our children are taught they have to complete it quickly, eat fast, do this completely,
Huh.
karo, jaldi karo. It is always we are on that note.
Correct.
So the children who come to me and when they talk, teacher, I finished, I completed, and they find that to be like the best thing they've completed, they're accomplished. But they do not understand that they have to slow down, they have to enjoy the process, they have to make sure the work, the presentation is much more neat, and they have to sit down and understand and enjoy themselves.
Correct.
That needs a little time. That will not come, in that early stage. That needs
Uh-huh.
a little time, little understanding. Only if the parent is quite repetitive and consistent with the child, yes. And slowly, from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, then increase it. Then the child, all of a sudden make them sit for 1.5 hour, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Correct. It
It
doesn't.
doesn't. And the child actually enjoys, like, tear the paper, stick it on a craft sheet. They love doing it. And they, give them scissors that is a little blunt so that they don't hurt themselves. And just cut it off and start picking. So picking it with your fingers, pasting it, they all help them in their gross motor skills.
Gross motor skills. Okay. Deepika, I had one more question. Now, a person who is, this artwork becomes a lot messy post the work is done,
Yeah.
right? And the mother is jittery.
Yeah.
You get my question, I
Yeah.
guess.
Big point. Yes.
So, as a mom, you don't have that patience. You've created a mess, you keep shouting rather than appreciating the art.
Are
It
you
goes into the other aspect. So as a mom, how do you help to calm yourself down? And as a teacher, so what have you learned in that process?
Basically, this happens to me every day. I mean, summer, it happens every day. It is from 11, my whole time. I mean, I do twice a day. So this happens every day. So what do I do is just a little prep. Like, if the child is working, you just have to, wherever the child is working, just make sure the papers are ready.
Mm-hmm.
Lay the papers, seal the thing, and then afterward they just put all the organized, I mean, pencils
Yes.
used, put them a jar. Actually, in the class, what my practice is, I give them a paper, I give them, I know I've said the things. This is where the papers are, this is where the paints are, this is where, the canvases are. Then the child knows it. And
Mm-hmm.
after the whole thing is finished, I tell them, put it back.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not put them in line. Take a basket, just lay it in one corner, and all the pens get into that basket,
Okay.
and all the pencils go into the mug. Uh,
Okay.
so they just put it into that. Shavings get into the dustbins. So you organize that place. Maybe when you're talking about a floor, isn't it? have a big polythene sheet
Mm-hmm.
or newspapers, just tape it around, make as big, let the child sit on the paper, work around, and once the whole work is done, all you have to do is just wrap the paper, put it aside. And when
Mm,
it comes to pencils and all of it, you just ask them, only cleaning is done. Once the cleaning is done, next job is done, right? So
I
you
get that.
tell them, yes, I think it is good.
Okay, so that is a good way of, making them organize in a way
Yeah,
when
the
we.
earlier they know, the better it is for them.
Okay, okay.
Just
Earlier
like
they
I
do,
think
yeah.
I actually, when I was a kid, I was taught we don't let the child work.
Correct.
They're very small. How do they know? But actually, they learn a lot. They do it themselves. I've seen kids who are 2.5 year old. They do it. When I say put the things back, they pick it up and they put it back.
Hmm.
This maybe for me, because of the group dynamics, it works.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because of, as a parent and a child, because the child can take a parent for a troll, like mummy hai, it's okay, she will do it, because
Correct.
we have allowed the child to have that kind of a notion. But you tell no, once your work is over, you need to clean it, and only then you're going for the next. Once that happens, the child will slowly understand.
Right. I get that. I get that. So in a way, you are helping the child to be organized or
That,
mentally and physically.
yeah.
And this is what is helping you to structure the child in the way you are looking up forward for.
Very.
And how is should be art taken as a therapy, or should art be taken as a activity, like a hobby? What
See,
do you say on that?
I cannot vouch for everybody, but I can, with my experience, it started off like a hobby and it ended up when I don't know how much. I have parents who are, if I can just stop and just say a little bit of story. I have parents who would come and ask how value added is art.
Correct.
Yeah, art, why should you spend so much for art? Why should
Hmm.
you invest in art? What is the take back? It, because it doesn't show you in your
Report cards.
report cards. First thing, it does not show you in where it is necessary, like it doesn't help you in getting into a college or any, when you're into a professional space, it doesn't help you, isn't it? But as and when you lead your life, when everything just settles down, when all this, the process of college, everything settles, when you are to yourself, that is
Yes.
when art comes into play. When you really have time for yourself and you're alone sometimes, right? You
Mm-hmm.
you need some kind of a hobby, be it anything. Like you're a sports person, you go and do your sports. If you're an art person, you can do your art anywhere, right? You just have to carry your stuff, isn't it? So
Yes.
drawing, painting, then you have, ikebana, origami. It helps you. It just silences your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very important. And I think it is, I am actually one of the, uh, person who's, I've been through that process. A person who didn't have any interest in the art, in the sense I didn't know it, I was not aware of it. But
Right.
right now it is very, very helpful. And
Mm-hmm.
and I want everybody to have access for it. When it has to, homemakers, I have homemakers who are 60 plus, who come and 1 hour a day they sit with me and they paint with me, draw with me. Not just toddlers, homemakers as well. So it helps you in the process, it helps you to calm down, it helps you to rewind yourself,
Right.
right? From, there's a lot of noise around us these days, isn't it?
Correct.
Just to declutter yourself, just to focus on what you want, this is one of the tool that you can use.
Absolutely.
Then I really can't say act. It starts as an activity and it ends in a therapy, I believe.
That's a good one you have put in. That's wonderful that you have put in. The last question that I want to ask you is, you have given such wonderful tips. How we start, what we choose, how it works for us. The basic question is that kids whose digital time has increased so much,
Exactly.
and we want to have them into a transition that, yes, come back. So how, what would be your guidelines on, asking them, you can start it all over again, see where you want to start. So what would be the takeaway for the parents who want to, minimize the screen time and get them into something beautifully, something known as arts?
Now I tell you what, this happens with my child as well. If I ask him to just draw something, he would just open an app, and then after he'll pick the color and then he drops the color. He picks the
Correct.
color and then he drops the color. And if Mama, I finished it. You asked me to draw, and this is the digital art I have done. But the point is, picking up and dropping the color is not art,
Right.
isn't it? It is about you. Either you draw on a digital platform, you have multiple apps helping the child to draw what they want, and the child is inclined towards digitally, isn't it? But the whole process, as in you take a physical paint and then
Mm-hmm.
after that you just spread over the whole canvas, create an empty sheet, right?
Right.
Physically you touch, and then you understand that there is a beautiful creation what is there in your mind. It might be just a single thought, but translating onto your canvas, it is a process that you enjoy, isn't it?
Correct.
Now that either you do digitally or either you do on a canvas, it is up to the person's interest. Now,
Correct.
well, what happens now, the age is actually transforming more digitally in that front. We are,
Mm-hmm.
and I personally, I have experienced this with children and with other moms as well, that the moment they reduce the screen time, they become more attentive. They tend to become more obedient. They obey. They
Correct.
instructions, because once you take away the screen in front, because everything is just moving in front of their eyes, isn't it? They get irritated. There is irritability. There is, immediately they get anger. They are always on a higher. Not this, not this. And there is no patience in them. Not now, next. What is next? What I have seen my child, download n number of apps in the, all the gadgets.
Correct.
And not one gadget he has sat through and he has been with it for quite some time.
Right.
Not now, next, next, next. It has been that way. But how do I tell my child, do this? It is only through appreciation.
Oh, okay.
Appreciation is one thing, and when the child is involved in it, you
Mm-hmm.
just have to tell, can I also engaging the child, appreciate the child, put it across, you use the same digital platform. I have parents, they come make a canvas, and the post have been done in their family WhatsApp group, and once they receive that kind of appreciation, they are willing to come to class the next day, is it?
Absolutely.
So once the child is being appreciated, wow, you've done this. And once the child understands that this is more fun, you give them the art material in their hand. We don't give them because it's kind of messy, they don't do it,
Yes.
don't have the time. But it is just that we have to put a little effort from our side, and I'm sure I have child who is like, I think she's 4, I believe. She would come to class and she can sit 1.5 hours straight,
Mm-hmm.
and she wouldn't even ask me anything, and she will keep doing her own so if the child is introduced, and if the child is given that platform, I think it works wonders.
Wow.
You all
That's
you have to do is just give them the necessary, create that atmosphere, put them in that zone, and I think they will work good. You give them an iPad for reference pictures and said,
okay.
look at it, and then you start doing it, and I think they will do a wonderful job.
Right, definitely. So, thank you so much. It was an eye opener, and definitely your small tips, with the age group and art to think as a therapy, sorry, as a passion, then to a therapy really has helped us. I hope you also enjoyed having this conversation, and many of these moms would be reaching out to you for your, joining as you're taking online classes. So I really appreciate the efforts that you're putting in, and you have totally changed the definition of art as a subject. We are not looking it as only as a subject, but we are trying to go beyond it, which helps us to retain our mindsets for a very long time.
Very
So
true.
thank you, Deepika. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for taking out time. So it was lovely and wonderful having you here on Baby Chakra.
Thank you, Pooja, and thank you, Baby Chakra, for giving this opportunity. I hope I helped moms, and
Definitely.
they have better time with their children and bond over art. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure. Bye.